raus! Nazis 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 raus!
Eine Glocke!
Nazis raus!
Glocke!
Nazis raus! 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 Нет войне! 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 Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus!
Ja, stolpert man nicht vor.
Schon aufgrund dessen!
Слава Украине!
Героям слава!
Вы знаете, zurückziehen hat nicht Versammlung.
Wir sind aus der Ukraine und aus der russischen Föderation.
Das Ganze für Ihren Selbstschutz.
Nee, wir verstehen schon, danke. Ihr leistet super Arbeit, danke dafür.
Befragt die Stille das Spiel. Im weiten Feld im Appelhain, befragt die Birken an dem Rhein. Dort, wo er liegt in seinem Grab, den russischen Soldaten fragt, sein Sohn dir drauf die Antwort gibt. Meinst du, die Russen wollen? Meinst du, die Russen wollen? Meinst du, die Russen wollen? Хотят ли русские, хотят ли русские, хотят ли русские войны? Nicht nur das eigene Vaterland fiel der Soldat im Weltkrieg. Nein, dass auf Erden jeder Mann in Frieden schlafen gehen kann. Holt euch bei jenem Kämpfer Rat, der siegend an die Elbe trat, was tief in seinem Herzen blieb. Meinst du, die Russen wollen? Meinst du, die Russen wollen? Meinst du, die Russen wollen? Хотят ли русские, хотят ли русские, хотят ли русские войны? Die Welt hat sie nicht schwach gesehen, doch niemals möge es mehr geschehen. Das Menschenblut so rot und heiß, der bitteren Erde wird zum Preis. Fragt Mütter, die seit damals grau, und fragt doch des Soldaten Frau. Die Antwort in der Frage liegt. Meinst du, die Russen wollen? Meinst du, die Russen wollen? Meinst du, die Russen wollen? Хотят ли русские, хотят ли русские, хотят ли русские войны? La 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. Es weiß, wer schmiedet und wer webt. Es weiß, wer ackert und wer sät, ein jedes Volk die Wahrheit sieht. Meint ihr, die Russen wollen? Meint ihr, die Russen wollen? Meint ihr, die Russen wollen Krieg? Хотят ли русские, хотят ли русские, хотят ли русские войны? Danke.
Wollt, also schon zu vorherigen Zeiten. Ich denke auch, der letzte General im Ministerium Ja, da kommt die uns.
Sind schon zu nah als Christen.
Noch nicht abmachen.
So, darauf kommen wir noch. Das geht, wir wollen das nicht so weit ausschalten. Also ich wollte nur sagen, dass es eben, ja, jetzt wissen Sie selber, jetzt sind Sie ganz entsetzt. Ja? So, jetzt sind Sie alle da. Oh, was ist jetzt? Wir sind reingelegt worden. Ja, reingelegt. Einfach reingelegt. Kriegslisten sind erlaubt. Also Superman begrüßen wir, die Europäische Union, bei der Altstein das Vierte Reich begrüßen wir. Wir haben ausdrückliche Grüße an die Weiterführung des Nationalsozialismus. Einfach Grüße gehen raus. Ich habe so das Gefühl, dass die weitermacht den Weg. Die junge Party, leider Gottes, wir wollen das.
Зажурилася, а ми тую червону калину піднімемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо. Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася, ось наша славна Україна. А ми тую червону калину підіймемо. А ми нашу славну Україну, гей, гей, розвеселимо.
А что ты не скажешь?
Ті піли не ганою, сядь моя. Веселимо, ой, у лузі червона калина, ей, розвеселимо.
Ganz schön. Ich glaube, also ich habe richtiges Vertrauen an unsere Polizei. Die leisten einen super Job.
Давай, иди тримайся. И прапор. Сними.
Так.
Смена караул. Все, погнали дальше. Не, без музыки.
Ой, у лузі червона калина похилилася.
Жаль, у нас нет цветов, чтобы...
Да, реально.
Ось наша славна Україна. І у лузі червона калина похилилася. Ось наша славна Україна зажурилася. А ми тую червону калину підіймемо, а ми нашу славну Україну розвеселимо. Батько наш Бандера, Шухевич мати.
Шайс Бандера, Шайс Бандера, Шайс Бандера.
Aber nur ohne... Das sind eine Abbildung im Negativen. Ja, genau, die Flaggen nicht.
Die Flaggen nicht.
Батько твій Бандера, Шухевич мати. Нацизм! raus!
Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus!
Eine Glocke! Nazis raus! Glocke! Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus!
Nazis raus! Nazis raus! Nazis raus!
Нет войне! 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 Nazis raus! 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 Ja, stolpert man nicht vor.
Und aufgrund dessen
Слава Украине! Героям слава! Вы знаете? Ладно, это versammlung.
Wir sind nicht aus der Ukraine und aus der Russischen Föderation.
Das Ganze für ihren Selbstschutz.
Nee, wir verstehen schon, danke. Ihr leistet super Arbeit, danke dafür.
Der guckt da.
У нас есть латвиец, немецкоязычный, русскоязычный. Мы настоящий интернационал. И мы против фашизма. И против войны. И против того, чтобы идеология современная, неофашистская, русский мир приватизировала эту память о войне. Мой дед воевал в легендарном Борнхольмском десанте. Мы будем праздновать День Победы без победобесия.
И без пропаганды!
Это праздник со слезами на глазах. Никакие на Берлин, никаких можем повторить. Я буду говорить на русском, потому что я русский.
Никогда снова! Никакой войны! Никогда снова! Война это в любом случае страшно, и неважно, между какими государствами она происходит. Агрессор должен быть наказан, в данном случае это Россия, он будет наказан. А люди России, просто русские люди и русскоговорящие люди, они против войны. Ну и, конечно же, поддерживают Украину.
Sing, Soldat, sing, du Mann mit dem Gewehr. Sing, Soldat, sing, weit war dein Weg und schwer. Bei der Rast im grünen Gras, sing von deinen Träumen was, vom Soldaten lieb und fair. Bei der Rast im grünen Gras, sing von deinen Träumen was, vom Soldaten lieb und fair. Sing, Soldat, sing, vom Haus zu dem es dich zieht. Sing, Soldat, sing, auch dort hört man dein Lied. Seinem Haus hat Ruhm gebracht, wer sein Vaterland bewacht. Sing, Soldat, wir singen mit. Seinem Haus hat Ruhm gebracht, wer sein Vaterland bewacht. Sing, Soldat, wir singen mit.
Kann nicht mehr singen. Hab eine draußen. Я не знаю, будет? Они в тюрьме.
Смотри, обрати ему внимание, что там цитаты Сталина. Ну почему?
Er hat gesagt, dass dort gibt es Stalins Zitaten.
Warum?
Warum? Ja.
Ist das entsprechend dem Zeitalter, in dem wir leben eigentlich? Es gibt auf diesen Denkmälern Zitaten von Stalin. Wir wissen alle, dass Deutschland ein Abkommen abgeschlossen hat, dass diese Denkmäler behalten werden, dass sie gepflegt werden und die sind auch in schönem Zustand. Aber wie weit müssen wir noch politisch korrekt sein? Also wacht auf, Deutschland, das ist nicht mehr weit. Als es in Georgien war, konnte man sagen, Vielleicht ist das russische interne Sache. Als es dann auch in Tschetschenien losging, ist ja sowieso interne Sache. Jetzt ist Ukraine dran und davor war Baltikum dran und Baltikum hat aber sich dadurch gerettet, dass es rechtzeitig NATO-Mitgliedschaft beantragt hat. Und ja, was sollen wir sagen? Stalins Zitaten hier, ist es der Weg, wo Deutschland hingeht? Das ist nicht korrekt.
Скажи, що парламент їх визнав голодомор геноцидом українців, а Сталін влаштував голодомор.
Das deutsche Parlament, Deutscher Bundestag hat in diesem Jahr Holodomor als Genozide, als Völkermord der ukrainischen Volkes anerkannt. Das ist eine der, sage ich mal, schlimmsten Kriegsverbrechen im 20. Jahrhundert und das hat Stalin begegnet.
Ja.
Und hier sind seine Zitaten immer noch abgebildet.
Ja, das ist
Deutschland, irgendwas gehört gemacht. In Riga wurden diese sowjetischen Denkmäler dieses Jahr endlich mal abgeschafft und seitdem ist Lettland viel friedlicher geworden, weil es gibt nicht solche natürliche Magnete, die als, ich würde sagen, als Retranslator, als Sender für russische Propaganda genutzt werden. Schluss damit.
Ja.
Das ist unsere Forderung. Und das andere, was wir sagen möchten, wir sind um Gottes Willen nicht Nazis oder Faschisten. Wir verherrlichen nicht Hitler. Er war grausam und unsere Vorfahren, die haben Hitler bekämpft. Aber wir lassen nicht unseren Denkmal privatisieren durch russische, jetzige faschistische Ideologie. Unsere Vorfahren waren heldenhaft, sie haben Hitler bekämpft. Aber mit Putins Reich möchten wir nichts zu tun haben. Das sagen wir eindeutig. Unter uns gibt es Russen, gibt es Ukrainer, gibt es Belarussen, gibt es Letten, Litauer, Kasachen. Es gibt alles Mögliche. Und wir möchten auch zeigen, dass wir da sind. Ja. Wir möchten mit der Verkleidung von Babys in Militäruniformen gar nichts zu tun haben. Wir möchten nicht auf Berlin aufschreien. Wir möchten nicht, wir können wiederholen. Also im ganzen Welt haben die Leute never again gesagt.
Nie wieder.
Nie wieder. In Russland ist das, wir können wiederholen oder gerne wieder. Also was soll das sein? Was hat das mit Denkmal von unseren heldenhaften Vorfahren zu tun? Gar nichts.
Can I make a question?
Yes.
So, in English.
Yeah, of course.
Would you destroy every Soviet monument in East Europe?
No, I mean, this part of the monument is a piece of art, right? So you see just some people there, some workers, some plants. This is piece of art. Art is art. But the quote of Stalin, that's not acceptable. And this is not a piece of art.
Okay, so
Stalin was not an artist.
Only the written by Stalin.
Yes, yes.
The statue of the Soviet
The
soldiers.
statue
Yeah, it's a sculpture, it's a memorial
of the soldiers who died because of the war. So it should not be destroyed. But Stalin's quote should have been destroyed because he was one of the people who made this war. Not only Hitler. Of course Hitler made this war, but not only him. Of course Stalin was with him. So and we all know that. And everybody knows. But not everybody are gonna accept it.
Yeah, and not only Russians. Not only Russians were fighting in Red Army, in Soviet Army. Many Ukrainians were fighting. Yeah. Like my grand-grandfathers, 3 of them died during the World War. They were in the Red Army. They were fighting in the Red Army. And actually, one of the Ukrainian battalions was one of the battalions who were entering Berlin. So, and soldiers are buried here. So we can't destroy like the memory. We can't destroy graves. This is a graveyard, actually, right?
They are always alive in our memories, of course.
In Italy, we have some monuments in the center of Rome where there are written of Mussolini, which was a dictator. Do you think they should be erased too, or do you think you can manage memory talking about that?
Did Mussolini commit any genocide?
Well, he did a lot of bad things.
Yeah, but bad things and genocide.
I think you know, straight after the Second World War, Italy, just like Germany, went through the denazification, and Italy has anyhow acknowledged the crimes that the Italian government has committed, and that's how you get along with such kind of troubles when, like, the kids of victims and the kids of their traitors just sit together and talk about this. But in Russia, never ever any single war crime committed by whatever reign, was it Russian Empire or Soviet Union or independent Russian Federation, those crimes are never reflected enough. They don't even try to think, to ask questions if we did anything right at that time or not. So without this kind of try to bring the victims and traitors in dialogue, without that it's not possible. And in Italy and in Germany you had that, and that makes a great difference to Russia.
So it's not a problem that we haven't written of Mussolini?
I think so.
It's up to you. I mean, it's your country. If you like to have that,
that should be the decision of Italians.
I think Italians should.
And we also don't decide here for the Stalin quotes. We say that we don't like it, but we are not citizens of Germany.
Not do anything
so
with them.
It's up for Germans to decide if they want to have Stalin. Okay, I'm not the one who would tell Germans what to do in Germany.
There is banned flags again, so you see who is not behaving well.
And like Russia continues after USSR, they called Second World War as like a great motherland war, and they say it's from 1941 till 1945, and then they basically make everyone forget that Russia or Soviet Union, together with Nazi Germany, they divided Poland, they occupied Baltic states.
Not only Poland.
Yeah.
Baltic states.
And
Moldova,
then Finland War, which happened, and basically huge USSR trying to occupy small Finland, and Finlands were there alone because the rest of the Europe was busy with Hitler.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you are from?
I'm from Russia. I'm the citizen of the Russian Federation.
Okay, you are from Germany.
I'm from Latvia, but I'm Russian. Like my ethnicity, my nationality, my language and my culture is Russian. And I'm named Alexander after my grandfather, like brother of my grandfather, who died from Nazis, killed, traded by Nazis, and I was named after him. And it's really funny when today I listen people calling me fascist the whole day.
Or Nazist.
Or Nazist.
Yeah.
This is disgusting.
And I'm Jewish Ukrainian, so yesterday I was leaving some stones, you know, the memorial next to Brandenburg Gate, so I went there to leave some stones to pay the respect for the fallen. So far, I not feel that I reached the state that I emotionally could handle visiting Auschwitz, but at some day maybe I would be emotionally ready to be there, because none from my family went to a concentration camp, luckily, because they were evacuated, but many Jewish people died in the concentration camp with like this. That was completely awful. And yeah, Russia did the same. There is one concentration camp that after Soviet Union took over the Eastern Europe, they continued to use the concentration camp of Nazis for like several years for the same purpose, to put some people in there.
So for you to be, I mean, your history has together in Soviet Union is something you are completely ashamed. There was nothing good in that history. I mean, it lasted 70 years or more.
Why?
Well, there were good things.
It's not possible to say that was nothing good in Soviet Union. Of course, something everywhere, something is good, something is bad, of course. But we do not, just our aim, our like goal, our point is to show that we are against the thing that's the propagandist thing that only Russia stops Hitler, because that's not true. And I want to just add one more thing. I just want to remind you, journalists and somebody else, so like in the Russian Federation there are a lot of people, there are majority of people who is against the war. But we do not do our protests because we just afraid. We are afraid of Russian police. Because if you'll see like some news, you'll see what Russian police did with them, with normal citizens of the Russian Federation. And now every Russian who is here in Germany or in European Union or in the USA, doesn't matter. Everybody who knows the truth, who knows who knows the reality, he should be against the war. In any other states, not only in Russia or not only in Ukraine, all around the world. No war should be. So I want to remind you that that's the flag of the Russian opposition. That's the flag of the people, of Russian people who is against war. Everyone who's against the war should know this flag. Because it looks like Russian flag, but we removed the blood from the bottom of this flag. So that's the reason why it's white, blue, white.
Hey, one last question. Why are you dressed like Superman?
Well, because I was dressed like this. Yeah, because I could. Because I was dressed like this on Maidan in 2014, 2013, when there were protests in Ukraine. I also wear just for fun this pajama.
And because of his
Not because
protection.
you have superpower.
No.
No.
And
At least I'm not aware of.
I would answer your question differently. What you asked about the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
No, we are not like some kind of Soviet haters. I wouldn't say that.
We are not,
Just the problem that you should realize that the current Russian Federation have got ideology. This ideology is called Ruski Mir, Russian world, and
Russian peace.
it looks like neo-fascistic ideology here, and Russia tries to kinda use this Soviet memory, even about the space, about Yuri Gagarin who flew to space, or the Second World War. They try to use it for own propaganda, for own political context, and that's what we are against. But we are not generally hating everything what is Soviet.
Yeah. May I add to that? So, like, if I also look at Germany, right? So, Nazis, they built autobahns, right?
Yeah.
Nazis, if you look economically, when Hitler came to power, like Germany was in a really, really bad state after Weimar Republic and having to pay all the reparations, and they did economical improvements, right? So it was not bad, but their ideology, they are obsessing like make Germany great again, and with this like douchebag in United States, make America great again. Like we have fascists all over the world, and like soon there would be elections in the United States, and you never know, because Trump still has a lot of support, because well, America also has a lot of issues which it needs to solve.
All right. So I believe all of you want peace.
Yes,
Yes.
of course.
Of course. What is the way to achieve this peace?
Ukraine must win
Yeah.
with power. Or Russia must withdraw, but if they didn't withdraw for 1 year, they would not withdraw.
I read that some days ago. I read that an Ukrainian soldier on the Bakhmut front lasts 4 hours. So do you
Sometimes.
think it's the right way to fight, or maybe you should?
That's
fight?
unfortunately that's the only way which Russia left us. We have no choice. My sister, she is 8 years younger than me. She is a combat medic because she is like an emergency doctor. So she has a like 6 years of medical university. She was there in Bakhmut, and she told me, yeah, average lifetime of people who come there from 1 day to 7 days. But that's the only option we have, because we've seen Bucha, we've seen Irpin, we've seen what happens when the Russians come and occupy you without resistance. They would just torture, rape you, destroy you. Like even here, some person was shouting at me that like, yeah, because I'm Ukrainian, I should be crawling on my knees here. That's their ideology, that's what they believe.
Okay, so let me add one more thing. What do I think? Because I'm from Russia, so I think I have some rights to think about it. It's okay to win, to stop this war. Of course, Ukraine must win. Yeah, that's a pity. Sometimes some people will die. Of course. That's a pity, but that's only the way out of this war. Ukraine must win. And first of all, in Russia, it should the propaganda should be fighted, because Joseph Goebbels and every other people said that first of all, if you want to change somebody's mind, if you want to change the mind of your of the citizens of your country, if you want to change the minds of citizens in other countries, you should first of all just tell them the truth, in your opinion. So many years ago, that was a radio like the Goebbels like the Goebbels mouth, okay, so now it's the television, sometimes internet and so on. First of all, propaganda should be stopped, and then the war will be stopped, of course. So I remind you, our main goal here is to stop the propaganda, and of course stop the war. So to stop the war, but firstly we need to stop propaganda, and then the war will be stopped. And I remind you that Russian people are against war, and they are not fascist or something else just because they are Russian and they are here in European Union. If somebody is Russian, okay, that's good. If he's in the European Union, okay. But everybody should be against the war and against Putin.
Yeah, there are people in Russia who are pro-Putin, like we could see them here.
Yeah.
We also have pro-Putin people in Ukraine. They are a very small minority, but that happens.
Yeah,
and they are legally prosecuted. So we have laws that basically regulate some, and people, if they violate the law, they go to court. If they don't, then okay, Ukraine is a democratic country. They could have this position, right? You have neo-Nazis in Germany, for instance, right? So if they don't break the law, then okay, let them be with their fucked up ideology.
Try to imagine Ukraine is a democracy country, yeah, of course. The Russian Federation is the biggest country in the world, but there is no democracy, absolutely. Nowadays, I mean.
Right now, if you want to, you can go to our country. We have several people from Russia who escaped Russia. They are under criminal investigations, and they are not gangsters. They have been like deputies. They have been politicians, like local politicians at little level. And the only way for them is just to escape Russia.
To escape the war.
Yeah, and
Putin's regime.
And you know, but your question, how should the war end up? Well, I mean, if victim doesn't fight back anymore, it is not called peace. It is called occupation. So right now, when people who are trying to exploit the Friedenstaube, you know, the
peace symbol.
The peace symbols, like they saying they are fighting for peace.
White pigeon.
No, it's not a peace. Exactly, the white pigeon of peace. The
IFD, white dove.
IFD tried to kind of exploit this symbol because in reality they don't fight for peace. Across Russia, if you look at the borders, there are so many frozen conflicts. They are frozen through years, through decades. In Moldova, in Georgia, Sagatfelo, it has been in Donbass and Crimea for 8 years.
I see it.
And so all that Russia does is just bringing instability by hot conflict and then freezing the conflict for many years so that the countries cannot develop, so that they belong to Russia and kind of are really dependent to Russia. That's what Putin does through decades, and that's why it would not be an option to just stop fighting right now and let Putin keep Melitopol for some 20 years or other major Ukrainian cities. Of course, it's not an option. The war should be ended as soon as possible, and the only way, I believe, are heavy arms supplies for Ukraine.
Even if that means a lot of
является циничной фальсификацией реальности.
Allein im Kampf um Berlin fielen mehr als 20.000 Rotarmistinnen und Rotarmisten. Ein Großteil der Gefallenen wurden hier in Treptow, im Tiergarten oder in Pankow beigesetzt. Auch wenn dieser Ort hier größer ist und pompöser als der in Pankow, liegen dort die meisten von ihnen. Im sowjetischen Ehrenmal in der Schönholzer Heide. Über 13.200 Menschen aus allen Republiken der damaligen Sowjetunion. Das Ehrenmal in Pankow und dieses hier verbinden die Frauenskulpturen. Die trauernde Mutterheimat, hier wie dort.
Пацаны, я это сделал! Ура, брат! Так надо праздновать победу. Ну ладно.